The Minnesota Vikings and their passionate fan base are stepping into the 2026 season carrying the weight of a highly erratic year. In 2025, they stumbled out of the gate to a dismal 4-8 record, only to turn around and rip off a miraculous 5-game winning streak that pushed them to 9-8, narrowly missing the playoffs. That finish leaves the organization squarely at a crossroads. The sports market currently views Minnesota as an average team, trapped in NFL purgatory, and there is genuine doubt about their viability as a playoff contender. But looking at the moves head coach Kevin O'Connell and the front office are making, they aren't settling for a slow, methodical rebuild. Instead, they are placing a high-variance gamble designed to shock the league. For that gamble to pay off, they have to use an elite receiving core and a chaotic defensive scheme to actively hide a glaring, volatile quarterback dilemma. To understand exactly what the Vikings are up against, we have to look at the competitive landscape of the NFC North. It is an unforgiving gauntlet for a team with foundational questions. This map shows current win projections. At the top, the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers pace the division with 10.5 expected wins. Below them are the Chicago Bears at 9.5, and at the absolute bottom sit the Vikings, staring down an 8.5 win total. While rivals like the Packers rely on highly stable quarterback situations to drive their success, Minnesota faces a severe math problem. Because of this top-heavy divisional dominance, the Vikings can't win on raw roster superiority alone. They are forced to rely on extreme strategic matchups and high-risk off-season acquisitions to stay relevant. To insulate whoever ultimately wins the starting quarterback job, the front office focused their first major off-season input on building an elite offensive support infrastructure. They already have a superstar foundation in place, with Justin Jefferson leading the charge, but the coaching staff identified a specific missing piece during their 2025 campaign. They needed a physical, gritty presence over the middle to complement their top-end outside speed. So they made a splash in free agency by signing Jauan Jennings to a 1-year deal. He brings specific, complementary traits to this offense, notably his slot versatility, physical toughness, and strong blocking prowess. When you combine Jennings' grit with the elite receiving talents of Jefferson and Jordan Addison, Minnesota has quietly assembled one of the most potent and well-rounded receiving trios in the NFL. This trio creates an elite safety net. For a team with an average offensive line, having receivers who can separate quickly and block effectively is absolutely mandatory to give the passing game time to develop. And that passing game needs all the help it can get. The most consequential storyline playing out right now in Eagan, Minnesota, is a genuinely wide-open quarterback competition. On one side, you have the incumbent, J.J. McCarthy, a developmental prospect drafted 10th overall back in 2024. This chart breaks down McCarthy's struggles during his 2025 debut. In 10 starts, he managed only a 57.6% completion rate, throwing 11 passing touchdowns against 12 interceptions. It's a negative turnover ratio that left the coaching staff searching for more consistency. To challenge him, the Vikings brought in a veteran wildcard. After being released by Arizona, Kyler Murray signed a league minimum deal to compete for the job. Murray offers high-end mobility and years of starting experience, but those assets immediately clash with massive concerns surrounding his lengthy injury history. Choosing between these two vastly different player profiles is a high-variance trade-off. This single decision dictates the ceiling of the entire offense. The Vikings are either betting on Murray's fragile Pro Bowl upside holding together, or banking on McCarthy making a massive developmental leap in his 3rd year. Because neither option guarantees week-to-week stability, the team's success relies heavily on the defense's ability to keep the score tight and within striking distance. Fortunately, the true, proven backbone of this team operates on the other side of the ball, under defensive coordinator Brian Flores. In 2025, his unit put up elite numbers, finishing 3rd in the NFL by allowing just 282.6 total yards per game. However, the defense underwent a major structural change this offseason when the front office traded away standout edge rusher Jonathan Greenard. To replace his production, the Vikings drafted heavily for the front 7, preparing to lean on unproven rookies like defensive tackle Caleb Banks and linebacker Jake Golday. This places the burden entirely on Flores' signature style. He runs an aggressive, chaotic scheme specifically designed to manufacture pressure from all angles, without needing elite individual edge rushers to win one-on-one battles. If the volatile offense struggles early in the year, Flores' schematic magic will be the primary engine preventing the Vikings from falling out of wildcard contention. So when we weigh these chaotic offseason inputs, does it map out a realistic path for the Vikings to hit the over on their 8.5 win total and shock the league? This matrix plots the scenarios. The boom path requires Kyler Murray perfectly healthy and immediate rookie pressure. Here, quick throws to receivers hit a crucial efficiency target. But the purgatory path warns if McCarthy fails to cut down turnovers, the division will bury them. The data paints a clear picture. The Vikings are a high-variance disruptor. They have a ceiling, but they explicitly lack the built-in stability of a true contender. The most significant external threat to reaching that 9-win threshold is an unforgiving 2026 schedule. Minnesota will face 10 matchups against teams that ranked as top 10 pass offenses last year. Testing a flawed secondary against the proven, highly stable offenses of division rivals like Detroit is incredibly dangerous. For bettors and fans evaluating that 8.5 win total, caution is advised. Given the question marks in the secondary and the extreme uncertainty in the quarterback room, predicting a deep playoff run is a massive stretch. Expect a highly competitive, chaotic roster that will fight tooth and nail and likely pull off a few shocking upsets. But analytically, a middle-of-the-pack finish, hovering right around 8 wins,